Hello, and welcome to Swerve's Bar, a podcast about Transformers comics, Transformers toys, and everything in between. I'm Onyx Prime with my two co-hosts with me here.
Howdy, I'm Computron.
And I'm Kilobyte.
Today we start off our journey through the IDW 2005 continuity with Megatron Origin. Both Computron and myself had read the series already, but this is Kilobyte's first time and we are excited to hear his thoughts about the series. But before we dive into that, let's take a look at some fun, interesting facts. Computron, take it away.
Alrighty, so before we dive into the fun facts, let's talk about some of the rather I won't say statistical, but released information, should we say. So the first issue was released on June 20th, 2007, and then the last one was released October 24th that same year. Eric Holmes wrote the entire series, and Alex Milne drew most of it, but Marcelo Macteri, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, he drew a little bit. Anyway, back to the fun facts. Did you know the GoBot that Megatron kills, his name is Cycle, was actually reused somewhere else. So in a reprint, they changed his name or his color scheme in this and said that he was a different bot that just so happened to look like Cycle. Another one is this series was originally intended to be 6 issues. 2 issues that were truncated were supposed to follow Megatron and his mentor, which would be later used as Terminus in this continuity in a flashback. And I'm gonna let Kilo take away with his thoughts.
Yeah, something I want to add. I did not know those fun facts, so that was pretty cool to know. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a short summary of what the comics cover. And so, Megatron Origins shows us the rise of Megatron from a low energon miner to the leader of the Decepticons, a group of oppressed Cybertronians. In addition, we are introduced to the leader of the Autobots at the time, which is Sentinel Prime, and the lengths he goes to in order to stop Megatron's ascend to power. With that said, we will be covering our favorite moments, topics, and scenes in Megatron Origins. So this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't read it, if you're interested in reading the comics, we encourage you to read. And then once we finish, come back to the podcast and enjoy our thoughts and our opinion.
Awesome. All right, shall we get into it?
We shall. Who wants to go first?
I'll start first. So, I like this series because it shows the change of Megatron. Like, he starts off as like someone who's definitely shown like they never killed anyone before. And you can see that when he like accidentally brutalizes the guard. And then by his first kill, and then by the end of the series, he doesn't care. Like he'll just off someone out because they're in his way.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like the trigger that made Megatron.
And then I also thought it was pretty funny that they Megatron killing a GoBot, essentially, but then they retconned the side kill. But that was funny to me. And like in the first issue, there's this one guy, I think his name's Clench. He's got like that face that looks like a scorpion. And when Megatron is trying to like kill someone, he says "Finisher," which reminds me a lot of Mortal Kombat, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I don't remember that exact scene, but I might have to go back and check on it.
I remember it. I even looked that up, like literally on the wiki. I was like, okay, I gotta know if this is a reference or not. And right on the wiki, it says it was a reference to Mortal Kombat. So I was like, oh,
There's a lot of fun stuff in here that are references. I think one of them was a reference to Gladiators. Like, I think this was one of your favorite scenes, Computron, when Megatron takes off his helmet.
Yep. Spoilers for my part.
But one of my favorite scenes is with Soundwave. And during this comic run, he kind of plays as like a spy for Ratbat, and who is a senator at the time. But then when, everything goes down, Ratbat's just like freaking out and getting ready to leave. But Soundwave betrays him and turns him into a cassette.
Is that what that
Yeah,
was? Like, because it looked like he was pouring something out of Rat Bat and like pouring it
they
into
called it
cassette, and that's what it was.
Operation
Yeah,
Allocate.
Oh,
Was it relocate resources?
yeah, I think
something
so.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I think
Like,
he just took the spark and he's like, "Nah, you're coming with
Yeah,
me."
he's
yeah.
like, "You're my pet now." For that, like the whole Soundwave Rat Bat. You remember when Rat Bat, like they introduced Rat Bat, right? And in Rat Bat's introduction scene, you can clearly see he's a dirty senator. Like that's clear as day.
Yep,
But he's talking to this figure on the right. Is that figure Soundwave that he's talking to?
I don't
Because like
recall. I'll
there's
have
a piece
to.
on the episode. It's like, oh, sell off all of this stock and wait for the crash and then rebuy into it, or there's that entire scene where you can clearly see he's being an absolute
Oh,
dirty senator.
definitely. He's
Yeah,
profiting.
and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. In that scene, he's talking to another bot. I'm like, I can't tell who that is because you can only see their waistline. Doesn't look like Soundwave's waistline, but like to know that Soundwave was essentially Rat Bat's secret agent that eventually screwed over by. But was that in that scene? Was he talking to Soundwave, or was
I
that just
would have to look at it again. Like I literally read it like last weekend, and now
it's
I
fresh off your
don't
dome?
know. It's like fresh gone now. So
Yeah,
I'm going to look at it again.
yeah. I remember the scene. I just don't remember the hit we're talking about.
Okay,
I'm kind of looking at it real quick and see if I.
So those are some of my favorite scenes. Who wants to go next?
I can jump into it.
Okay.
So unlike Kilo here, you and I had we were coming from when we already finished the entire series and we're looping back,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like so that's also like one of my favorite things is catching stuff you
Oh, it's my
missed, right?
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my entire favorite season or series out of them, well, there's two, and it's More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. And I absolutely love their art style. And then I eventually, we come back to Megatron Origins. I forgot what the art style was like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Alex Milne. It's like the guy I love. Like I love his drawing. I love his art completely. It's like, okay,
I like
my
the
boy.
darkness around the outlines of the bots, and like
Yeah.
some of the bright colors that come make it stand out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like you can tell like he's really good at drawing neon colors, like neon lights coming out of their bodies.
Mhm.
And like he does it even better when we get to like MTME when you can kind of see like he's perfecting his craft, or it's just
Yeah,
getting a little bit more high def.
there's a little bit of
But
that in the Autocracy trilogy, which is what we'll be reading next.
oh, I
Yeah,
forgot. Like, I remember the storylines of all of these, and I just forgot the drawings. Because there's a stuff like, there. Don't get me wrong. There are some art styles that are they're just not my favorite art style.
we won't name names. Heart of Darkness.
Yep. Like when you have to like rotate the damn comic like 3 times to figure out what the hell you're looking at. Like, okay,
Perspectives like all wonky.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That happened. That happened to me. I don't know if it's in the next series that we're gonna read, or if it was in some parts of the Megatron that I had to pause and sometimes figure out what was happening because there's so many things scattered on in that page, and I'm like, is this an explosion? Is this like somebody's body? And I'm like, man, it's hard. So, but the art style is very good. I do like it myself.
My next favorite thing, it's nice to see like, they're giving so you guys seen like the movie Gladiator, right?
hmm
Yeah.
Um in the Gladiator he kind of starts, he starts from the top and goes to the bottom and becomes a gladiator and then eventually dies. It's to me, I'm like when I'm reading this, I'm like, this is like the opposite of Gladiator. This is like the entire revolution. He starts from the gladiator pit and works up to becoming a complete
I'm
revolutionary.
Spartacus.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't actually watched Spartacus, so yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
But to me, it's nice because like you can just see the one thing that's really stands out to me is when you're watching Megatron fight, right? In those gladiator scenes, his eyes just become flooded with the lasers coming out of his eyes, like he's in his bloodlust mode, right?
hmm
Hmm.
And like when you first see him with his first kill, his eyes start to do that glow, and then like they just keep pouring and they just keep pouring and pouring out. And so I'm like, damn, okay. uh he gets completely brutal, but like what Alex Mellon is really good at drawing, sure, kudos to kudos to Eric Holmes for writing this, but like what Alex Mellon is really good at drawing is, this is the most piece of shit guy that everybody hates in all Transformers, but in the comics, you're really empathetic towards him, right? So
Right, and
while
you
he's
start seeing that more throughout the series.
maybe not so much in All Hail Megatron, but maybe not so much there. But it's really interesting when you get to see him kind of transform into this husk of pure rage that he is, and then I'll actually get back to another thing about that a little bit later. One of my other things, and this is actually kind of really short, is when I first read Megatron Origins, I didn't realize when they first got captured, like the two bots that were sitting right next to him, and
Mhm.
like he kind of like brutalizes like this cop or whatever, or somebody that was like watching over him. The
Yeah.
two guys that were sitting next to him were Frenzy and Rumble. I was like, oh shit, okay. And like it wasn't until later that he gave them the color change, and then I'm like, shit, I gotta go back a couple pages. Was that really those two dudes? Like, and I love Soundwave. He's my
The real
favorite.
question is, who was who? Is Frenzy red or is he blue? Is Rumble red or is he blue?
Well, Rumble's red, Frenzy's blue. At
I
least
thought
in
it
the
was the
toys.
other way around.
Nope.
Exactly.
I feel like I've seen
I
Rumble
am
Blue.
looking at my Soundwave cassettes right now, and it says Rumble and Jaguar because they don't want to, say Ravage. Friends, it has Rumble as red, and on the other side where it has Laserbeak and Frenzy, Frenzy
Mhm.
is blue.
Okay.
However, does anybody care?
I mean, there are a few. I don't. I just think they're, fun.
Yeah. They like to create chaos.
Let's see here. Like looking at my notes real quick. So the next thing that I really like is the transformation of Megatron's armor, where he, like as gladiators progress, their armor gets better and better and better until they look like this outstanding looking individual. Especially like during the Roman times, the better the gladiator, the better armor he got. And it was so fun to watch Megatron transform from his mining gear all the way to his traditional color gray outfit, and with like some red to it, but as well as I'm going to kind of dive into my next topic after this. It was really good fun watching them, but it was also really interesting with that transformation, watching the transformation of the sigil of the Decepticons, because in the beginning of the book it was completely a completely different sigil,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was different.
Yeah, it morphs over the comic. And so it morphs with the transformation that Megatron's going through until he finally becomes the Megatron that we all see. And to me, it was
Very
really
good
interesting.
attention to details over there. And it becomes more spiky, doesn't it?
Yep.
It does, and it switches some spikes around because some of them were kind of like grouping down. So
And then on my last topic, speaking of Megatron's gear, we get to witness this, and I believe this is the only time we ever actually get to witness this. So kudos whoever read the comic and Kilo reading this, because you're only going to witness this once, and that is Megatron taking off his helmet. But here's the thing: you need to really pay attention to the shape of his head when he takes off his helmet, because if I'm not mistaken, it's a flower shape, right?
yeah, I could say it looks kind of like a flower, but it also,
I
I
think
don't
I
know.
see where you're going with this.
It looks like I know. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna spoil anything. There is only one more time you're ever going to see a flower in this series, and so pay attention to the shape of Megatron's head, and because it's shaped like a flower. To me, it was, and because it'll be very important later down the road when we talk about flowers next time.
Okay, I'll put that on my
Kilo,
notes.
do you have any fun favorite things that you like, disliked?
Yeah, no, I like we've mentioned before, the art style is very good, and I think it's very well detailed, and you can distinguish the characters and everything. So I really like that. I felt like sometimes I got lost in the art, and it could have been just me reading it and then trying to.
It's very mesmerizing.
Yeah, it is. I just felt like it was on some scenes where they're kind of like doing the conflict. I felt like sometimes a limb would mix with another bot's body, and I'm like, what am I looking at? Other than that, I think it's very good. It could have been just me not really looking at the details, or it could have been the program I'm using to read them. But The other thing I do like is Sentinel Prime's armor and this version of him. I like the coloring and all the because he's the kind of the leader of the Autobot police force in Cybertron. So he's very ruthless and he's very like in command of all the Autobots. So it's like whatever he says, they'll do. So I really like that. And through this comic, reading Megatron's origin and seeing how he became the leader of the Decepticon, it made me rethink of my affiliation. I've always kind of been Autobot, but I'm like, oh, I can follow this. I can become a Decepticon. You know, I feel like rising up for what you believe and to no longer be oppressed by the regime of the Primes is something that I can follow. So I thought that was very cool. And again, we've mentioned the Rat Bat Senator. I think that was pretty cool because the Rat Bat I always remember was the Tet, and seeing him here as a senator, I'm like, whoa, this is different. But I dig it. And then when the cassette conversion happened, I'm like, oh, okay. So you're taking this Rat Bat from being a kind of like a senator that works in the dark and kind of mix things to go his way. You becoming him more of a kind of an animal and kind of making him your.
It was kind of like tables were turned on him, right?
Yeah. So from being in power, now he's the one that serves Soundwave. So I think that was very cool.
Oh, that reminds me of another cool scene that I thought was awesome. So like there's this part where they're trying to equip Megatron with a new weapon, and they notice that like he leads with his right hand, and they give him a fusion cannon. And Starscream says something along the lines is like fairness is something the other guy has to worry about, and I thought that was really on point.
Yeah, that's a very good scene.
Is there anything else about the comics we want to talk about before we move to the next segment?
Oh,
I got nothing.
no, I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about. The fun read.
Fun read's good time. I highly recommend it if you have not read it already, or if you read it already and you want to read it again. It's definitely worth it.
And yeah, kind of look for those hidden details and kind of see if you can remember
Right.
bots.
Especially if you want to reread it too, right? Because like there's a bunch of stuff that this is the first comic of the entire IDW series. There's already a bunch of shit like I completely skimmed over and didn't care about.
I was like, when I was listening to you read it the first time, there was like a few things I was like, oh, he picked that up and I didn't, or it'd be like, oh, he should be paying more attention at this one spot for later. But yeah, it's definitely a good time. Should we move to Transformers toys? I know Computron, you have a new toy. Would you like to talk about it?
Do. So, spoiler alert, I have a IDW Megatron model, not necessarily a Transformer toy, but an actual model with the Autobot badge.
Ooh, how does that happen?
How does
Guess
that
you have to
happen?
stay tuned in for more.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
I still don't know myself, so you'll be going on this journey with me.
Other than that, like I think still to right now, like I still think I have like two top favorites. One is the Soundwave, you got me, the masterpiece one, and then the other one is the Tarn action figure that you and I just happened to luckily get, even though you got the combiner. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I got plenty of shelf space, just maybe not for super big toys like that. Like the new ship that just came out.
The Rodimus.
Yeah,
that one's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want it. I've been eyeing it, so I might add it to it. Once I read the comics.
The infuriating thing about that is like it got sold out like during its
Of course it did.
Yeah.
Kilobyte, you have any new toys you want to talk about, or the latest toy you've gotten, or anything you've seen that you think is cool?
Well, I've gotten 3 toys recently, which was the Optimus Primal from the Netflix Kingdom toy line. I got Rat Trap, and then I got Vertebrae. I think it's called the little raptor. And I think they're very good. I remember seeing some clips of Beast Wars when I was younger, and I had friends that had the Cheetor toy that was maybe 2 feet tall. So I remember the toys. I don't think I ever had some of them. So I'm like trying to see if I can maybe start a collection and get into the Beast Wars.
Yeah, Beast Wars were a fun time. Me personally, I got this cute, adorable stuffed Grimlock for my birthday, and it's sitting behind my 2 monitors. It's great. I love it.
It's watching
It's a
over
good
you.
time. It's watching over me. I need to sew its bottom feet together so it has more stability when sitting down. Otherwise, he does the splits, and then he just goes head first into the ground.
Yeah, no, that plushie was very cute. I saw the webpage and they have some other cool ones there as
Yeah,
well.
it's awesome. I love it. Alrighty. Shall we move to the next segment
Yeah, let's go.
if we have anything? And then it's everything in between. This can be anything in between, I guess. What's between a comic and a toys, guys? Please help me.
The cartoons, the movies, the video games.
Movies, culture. Yeah.
What you got?
Movies.
One thing right off the dome.
Well,
I'm playing. Go ahead.
oh
Sorry.
no, that's just I was gonna mention that Computron's been playing the War for Cybertron video games from High Moon Studios.
Right.
So
Stole that fucking line right from under my feet, man. Dang.
This is your first time playing that, right? What do you think so
It
far?
is. I'm gonna say I came in thinking it had some sort of relation to the Bayverse stuff. So I started off with kind of like low expectations for it. And what I mean by that is, I've only watched like the commercials of it, and when I did, it was just like brief glimpses of the commercials. And so when I'd see the commercials, I'd see that they would do that Bayverse transformation, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good. And now that I'm getting into it, I'm like, oh, this storyline is way better than what was like made from like the Bayverse. Right now, I'm loving it. I'm loving that you get to play both factions. You start off with Decepticon, and then you go to Autobot.
You haven't
I
finished it though, right? The first one.
I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
But I do want to say from the Decepticon point of view, it was stellar. It was great. Me playing as Soundwave because Soundwave. My name's Computron, but Soundwave's my favorite.
I can't tell.
Don't let anybody say otherwise.
Just wait for the second one. You'll love the second one. We don't talk about the third one.
Yeah.
But just wait until the second
yeah,
one.
third one doesn't exist.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's definitely a trilogy.
No, it's not.
No, it's just two and that's it.
Some reason it magically ends at 2, and we've been waiting for a third one for a while now.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Such good games. The multiplayer is
So
fun as well.
what was your Twitch channel called?
Twitch.tv/Computron. All of his O's are replaced with zeros.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can watch him play more Transformers. Maybe we can get him playing Devastation.
Ooh,
Here's
that
another
one's a
thing
good
that's in
time.
between. Here's another thing that's in
Oh
between.
yeah, show me what's in between.
Cosplay.
Oh, that's right.
Good.
I think we should talk about that one next time for our viewers.
should.
What do you think? Keep them on their toes?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
We could also like submit a poll what people
Cool.
think.
Yeah, what they think the cosplays are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can send us an email at swervesbarpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts, comments, feelings, or what you think we cosplay as. Ooh.
Yeah. Any questions?
Is there anything else? Yeah.
I got nothing.
Oh,
That's been our show. Have a fantastic week, and until all are one.
all are one.
Till all are one.